Sounds good.
Mm.
Hello, it's Larry Clark, and we're doing another edition of Meet the Composer. And today we have Yukiko Nishimura is our featured composer today. And we actually also have composer Pete Sciaino, who's going to be the interviewer today of Yukiko. Yukiko, thanks for doing this for us today.
It's good. Thank
And
you.
hi, Peter. How's it going?
All right. How's it going, Larry?
Going great. So, Peter, take it away, and everybody is going to really enjoy this. Thanks, Yukiko, for doing it.
Yeah. Thank you, Yukiko. I was excited when you said yes, because when I've been following along with all the Excelsior interviews, I was waiting for one of my favorite composers and my friend Yukiko to be interviewed. And I said, "Hey, Larry, can I do it?" And thanks for saying yes. So this is great. So my first question for you, and I know a lot of band directors and orchestra directors want to know the answer to these questions, is can you talk a little bit about your upbringing, where you were born, and how your home influenced some of your music?
Okay. I was born and raised in Kyoto, Japan. Kyoto is located in the western part of Japan, next to Osaka. When I was a kid, I remember that my mother could play the piano just a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the reason why I started learning music. But obviously, I was interested in music from TV or radio. So I remember that I was so shy in public, still now. But on the other hand, I always sing along something from TV show like Sesame Street or puppet show or animation program. So naturally, I could get into the musical experience.
Yeah. And that shaped you growing up. That's great. Now, did you have music education in your schools, growing up in school?
Yes. I started taking music lessons at Yamaha program for kids at very first time when I was 5 years old.
Okay.
Some of their systems are good because they teach music theory and actual playing at the same time.
Yeah.
So back then, I didn't realize how it was important for kids to learn how music is structured without consciousness,
Yes.
So I didn't know how I was good at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yes.
Yeah,
100%.
I don't remember that. But
Yeah, right. I know. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that was my first basic thing. After I left Yamaha, I started taking private piano lessons, and also entering another music school for kids. This school is very good. They have some lessons once in a week. I took classes for ear training, sight reading, choral class, and composition class as well.
A lot of stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I had already know how to compose because I have a basic skill from Yamaha program.
Right.
So it was easy to start.
Yeah. And then you kept studying, and then I know moving ahead, you eventually you studied with Alfred Reed over here in the States. Right?
Yes. Before that, I got into music high school in Kyoto.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Just
had
for
been.
music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had been longing to go to the school as a piano major, but my piano teacher said that I can't get in there with my poor technique.
Oh no.
I was very sad, I remember. So since I already knew how to compose at the age of 12, my teacher suggested me to continue to study music composition to get into the music high school as a composition major.
Got it. So that was how you got into the high school composition piano. Yeah.
But it was a tough decision for me. I cried for a couple of weeks to settle down some feelings in me.
Yeah.
After decided to study composition, I started to study the European style of music. They're very strictly, which are like Roman numerals and counterpoint, and also studied the structure of fugue
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was valuable as you progressed. Yeah.
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 To write music.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so then how did you come to study in the United States? Uh,
Uh,
Alfred
yeah.
Reed was one of your teachers, I know.
I'm sorry?
It was Alfred Reed? You studied with Alfred Reed?
Yes. After I graduated the university in Tokyo,
Yeah.
I was still, interested in studying composition. So about Alfred Reed, at the University of Miami, I studied with Dr. Alfred Reed.
Right.
And
Yeah,
at the time, he was around 70 years
yeah, he
old.
must have been older. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was not a composition faculty back then, but he was a professor in music business.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I took special lesson with him every time I wrote something new.
Uh-huh.
I,
You'd bring it to him. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's
I
valuable.
asked him like, do you have a time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he would look at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so neat.
Yeah. And it was very unique lesson. I asked him anything I wanted to know, like the specific orchestration for a specific point
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
music.
Sure.
And then he gave some advice, or he told me one of his thousands of experience in his music career.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
He just gave me some tips.
Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't teach how to compose.
Yeah. No. Right.
Yeah.
He didn't change your work. He just
Right.
some experience of his own. That's sometimes the best teacher, right?
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to be a teacher like him,
Yeah, right. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Encourage, but don't influence
Yeah.
too much. Yeah. I think that's really important.
Yeah, it was really precious time for me to
Yeah.
spread my knowledge of composition.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
bet.
I was in Miami for 2 years, but after that, our relationship continued until he died at the age of 84.
Mm. So
Yeah,
you kept
like
in touch.
15
Yeah.
years. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow, what a great mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are
That's-
very few students,
Yeah, yeah. You don't hear a lot of people who have studied.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Mm.
Oh, that's fantastic. So you probably consider him to be a big influence in your composition or in your life as a teacher, but are there also favorite composers of yours that have influenced you or inspired your composing?
Other than
Yeah,
Reed.
other than any other composers who you consider
Okay.
influences?
Yeah, I was a very classical person. Like, when I was a student, my favorite composers are Schumann
Yeah,
and Brahms, and French composers like Debussy, Ravel, Fauré, and Poulenc.
classics. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I
That's great.
yeah. These days, I am like a melody person, but yeah,
Interesting.
before, yeah, I was like harmony person. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like,
yeah, totally. Yeah, you go through phases, right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I know exactly
Yeah.
what you mean. So now you center your work more around melodies, it seems, but at one point it was much more harmonic,
Right.
inspired. Yeah.
Yeah. At the time, I was obsessed with using the French style of harmonies in my
Yeah.
in my music at that time. But after that, my interest was going to American music, like Leonard Bernstein, Copland,
Interesting.
Stravinsky,
Yeah.
Korngold, etc.
Yeah. So you grew kind of with the timeline. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe because of jazz, I think.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, but you're in your, in your
Yeah.
music, you definitely hear some harmonies and colors that you could
Right.
right out of a jazz
Yeah, I was
composition.
obsessed with
Yeah.
modern jazz. I like using mode scales
Yes.
and
Exactly.
also rhythm patterns. Now also, I'm still using it.
Yeah. Yeah. It still shapes who you are as a composer, along
Mm.
with Schumann and the Debussy and everything else.
Right.
Yeah. Right. We are all, I guess, influenced in certain ways and kind of come up with we're kind of playing our favorites in our music, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have been thinking that, you know, I have to watch out if I want to use that, you know, jazzy type of fragment
Yeah.
to educational music.
Yeah. I
Sometimes
know
it's very
exactly what you mean.
difficult to put it into that kind of era. I mean,
Yeah, in
field.
that field, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Kind of ensembles, and I totally know what you mean, because every so often, you know, you want to write something that represents that, or it comes from that, but the students don't necessarily have the
Yeah.
ability at the younger ages
Right.
to hear the harmonies and to play it successfully. So yeah, yeah.
Mm.
But some of your other works, you know, the harder stuff, maybe, you know, it sneaks in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah, fun to play, I think. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Mm.
Yeah, you're talking to the right person here. I'm with you. I'm with
Yes.
you. Now, this is a question I very much look forward to your answer on. Here, you know, in the United States, traditionally,
Mm.
there has been much more attention paid to white male composers,
Mm.
and there's, you know, been some progress lately. Certainly not enough progress where there is more diversity being explored by band directors or people who program music, even professionally. But clearly, there's a lot more work to be done, and one of the important pieces there is programming music written by women and underrepresented composers traditionally.
Mm.
So I guess my question is, you know, having lived in Japan and came up in Japan, did you, you know, obviously we are influenced by composers all around the world, but
Mm.
is that also the case in Japan historically, that there's much more male composers, or even white male composers who, you
Mm.
know, from Europe or from the United States that were performed in Japan, or is it more diverse? Is it changing?
Um, as you said, it's not only in the States, I believe. Um, I, I have read an article some years ago. It says that I am talking about a women composer.
Yes. Yeah.
It says that the percentage of women composers from the classical era to the present.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only 2% of women composer in 18th century.
Yeah.
And in the present, there is about 15% still 15% of women composer.
Right.
It's very interesting data, and it's still few, you know, women composers nowadays. But
Yeah.
these years, people have been paid attention to diversity. So
Yeah.
it's very good because there are so many excellent composers in various cultures or races or gender. I think in Japan, the diversity is getting penetrated only a bit, slowly.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I was in Japan as a composer, I felt I was not the right place to continue my career. Yeah, sometimes I was frustrated being a woman composer, but the music itself is more important.
Yeah.
So no matter what the gender is, good music is good music. And in Japan, there are many, you know, premieres or concerts from the other country, mostly from Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's rare to see, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. We you know, we have to continue, and I think the job falls on, you know, people who program music, you know, when the directors who are choosing their programs or choosing honors, but, you know, I'm talking more, I guess, in the educational field because it's what I'm
Right.
most familiar with. But you know, there's been some movement, and there's been some people who have been really great advocates for it, and I think it's starting to be better. But yeah, obviously much more work to be done so that it's not such an effort. It's much more, you know, organic, and people are, because as a student, you know, I always think of the students that are playing the music, you know, when I'm teaching students the music, they want people who are like them. They want the you know, some of the young women want women to look up to composers, right? Or people who are of color want, so I think that there's more work to be done there. But so in Japan, the same thing, maybe not even as good as it's been here. You know, that's interesting. It's interesting to get that perspective.
Yeah, that's why Gubaidorina was my, you know, like hero, you know.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about your writing a little bit, some of your music that you've
Okay.
written. Okay. So
Mhm.
your use of, I always think the use of, we were just talking about this with the jazz a little bit, your use of color in your
Mhm.
writing, you know, the
Mhm.
combinations of the instruments and the ranges that you pick for the different instruments seem just as important as the harmonies. You know, the
Yeah.
harmony is important, but the choices you make to make that those colors happen, is this something that you are very naturally just here or in your head, or are you always adjusting it and
Mm.
changing it as you get to the finished product?
Yeah. I totally agree with you. You know, to me, color is the most important thing. Mostly, it comes from directly to my mind. Sometimes it's very clear, but sometimes it's blur sound. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
at the very beginning.
yeah.
So I come up with some ideas, then finding out what colors or harmonies would fit it.
I see.
And if you could find at the very first moment before you start writing, it's obviously the easier way to complete the music. But on the other hand, if you are not sure, if you're not sure yet how you can start the music, it's gonna be a long journey to
Yeah,
find a right solution.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, most of the time, like that.
yeah. But you do
Yeah.
a great job choosing and finding the solution, because that always jumps out at me. You know, and we'll talk about some of your pieces specifically, but the colors that you use are just so lovely. I just always drawn to that. You know,
Oh.
as a composer. So beautiful. Now you've written a lot of pieces for band,
Mm,
orchestra, piano, film scores, all different kinds of music, not just educational music.
mm.
But when you come up with a musical idea and then you decide which group is it you come up with the idea or the melody, and then you say, oh, this would be good for the band, or this would be good for the, or do you sit down and say, I want to write for orchestra, and then start, the idea comes after that? You know, how does it work for you?
It depends on the project, but the idea of project is first. After I wrote something, and then it's not the way of my project going.
Yeah,
Yeah, about a commissioning piece. As you know, usually someone asks me to write something new for a specific occasion. Yeah,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I care about the title first.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's related to color, maybe.
I get it. Yeah.
So I have a notebook collecting the words that I got inspired.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thousands of words in a one book. So
I know. I never look back. I actually have it on my phone. I have a little note on my phone, and I just think of words.
okay.
Sometimes, yeah, you sit down and you say, what would that sound like? Right?
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
that's interesting. Yeah. So the word sometimes inspires you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
The title, title helps me to come up with the idea of music. Always, it's not the simple, but you know, about it.
Okay.
Some,
Yeah.
yeah,
It can start it off. It can start it
some
off.
little things, little inspiration lead me to the end.
Yeah.
Just the idea. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that. But
Mm.
sometimes I'm writing a piece for a long time and I can't think of a title. That happens sometimes too, but usually the title first. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Now, you just talked about the commissions.
Yeah.
You often are commissioned to write pieces for different projects or different groups.
Mm.
Do you have some favorite commissions that have come out really well, or pieces that were published that were originally commissioned that you're very proud of? Or
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I'm always thankful they found me
yeah,
and contacted me. They're
yeah,
so brave.
right. The pay first. Listen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Every project is so special. It's like custom made.
yeah,
So I want to create something they want. Each project is always tough, but also fun for me. And after I submit the piece, there will be the happiest moment that the music is fully accepted.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the most, I got nervous
Yeah. It's
at
a
that
relief.
point.
Yeah.
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 You too?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Sure. When you deliver that final version, and they like it, it means a lot, because
Mm,
you never know, right? You never know if they're gonna like it. So
yeah.
commissions, I mean, yeah, I'm very proud when the commission comes out well. It's much more important to me when there's people who are, it's written for
Mhm.
specifically, yeah, for them to appreciate. So I understand that, yeah. So
Yeah. And then
yeah,
after that, it it will be good if it's published from
right,
somewhere.
yeah, ideally, yeah.
Mm,
And you've had a number of commissions that do get published.
mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
One, now I want to talk about Ancient Flower.
Ancient flower. Okay.
Yeah. Now,
Mhm.
was that a commission or no? That wasn't a commission first?
It wasn't
No.
commissioned. It
But
was for
you have,
string orchestra.
right, first string
Mm.
orchestra.
Mm.
Because there's a band version too and both are played a lot. I know I've played it with some groups that I've conducted.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I love that piece. And it's very popular right now. I think it's being played by a lot of honors groups that I've heard, educational groups and so on. But can you talk more about that? So orchestra piece was first. Can you talk more about the inspiration for that piece?
Yeah, I was very surprised the band version is growing up so
Yes.
fast.
Yeah. Very popular. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I wrote this piece for a string orchestra first, but in this music, as you hear the sound, I wanted to put some Oriental atmosphere.
Mm.
However, I wanted to use the harmony most people are familiar with from the Western kind of music.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
When I transpose to another key for band, it is not just changing the key. I do care about how it works, how it sounds on that instrumentation. So that the transcription was so good for me. It's I learned a lot.
Yeah.
So I often put the new sections of new counter melodies,
Right.
to the piece for letting it sound better
Yeah.
than the original version. So
Right.
I don't want it. I don't want to make it, almost the same music.
Right. Bring
Yeah,
something
it
new.
should be changed a lot. It's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
No, it's a great piece. I know a lot of people who have played it in the student.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. That's a great one.
Yeah, I was so happy, at the Midwest last winter.
Yeah.
I just walked around the booth, and then someone just told me, "Are you a ancient flyer composer?"
Yeah.
Like, they know
Yeah.
me
They know
too.
you. Yeah, yeah. I know, yeah. See? So famous. No, I know it's very popular and rightfully so. It's a great piece. And that's been out a few years. When the new Excelsior catalog came
Mm,
out for new pieces,
mm.
I right away was drawn to Smiling After the Rain. I think that is just such a great piece and is a newer piece, so that's just out. So
Mm,
I wanted to quote you. What you said about that piece is that you say you wanted to create something that brings happiness,
mm,
right?
mm,
Small daily,
mm.
happiness in small daily events, which I think right now that's
Right.
very important, right?
I
That's very
know.
important. It might be a great theme from band directors who are picking music, for the next
Yeah.
years to find that little happiness. So, can you talk more about that piece, Smiling After the Rain?
Yes. Okay. This is a commissioning work.
Okay.
A conductor who is active in Japan contacted me through Facebook.
Okay.
And he told me that he loves my band work Starship a lot. And also he follows all of my music, even if it's written for any, other instrumentation. When he first sent me email, he seemed to be new music should be in a sensitive mood. But he suggested that he would be feeling relieved if we could see a rainbow at the end.
Yeah.
He said rainbow,
He chose
that's
that.
the key point.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I started thinking about the title. Yeah. I looked back my book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Found a good one.
Yeah. And it's, the idea is really nice. So what he desired in the music. So I started thinking about I didn't want to, I didn't say rainbow directly. It's
Right.
nonsense, because
Yeah.
So I put smiling after the rain. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many people can imagine that's the rainbow,
Right. Like, where do you find out?
But I hope it worked out.
I think it's great. And I think that, you talk about rainbows and that theme. Again, we talked before about all the different colors, that's kind of a literal version of colors, right? I mean, there's lots of different choices you made with the instruments and the combination of instruments that play the melodies that it really works. So I think that people will be attracted to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Always I am worried about, my, I don't do doubling,
Yeah.
So the orchestration is not so thick.
Right.
That's my way of, orchestration. So I always worried about it sounds better or not. Yeah.
Right.
Especially for students.
Yes. Yeah. I was going to say, it probably depends on the group. And I think that Smiling After the Rain is a little harder piece, for a more advanced group than, say, Ancient Flower. So that's when you want the students to be thinking about being more independent in playing the different voicings. And sometimes like one on a part, not doubled, is appropriate, because sometimes the doubling changes the whole color, right?
Right.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that one's really successful. I know that people are going to like that one. I think that it's going to be your next popular smash hit, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember the how what is the grade for that? I don't remember, but
I think it's, if I'm not, Larry probably knows, but
4?
I think it might be a 4. Yeah, it might be a 4. So, more advanced.
Yeah, I think so.
So, do you? I'm sure you're proud of all your pieces. You said before, you have proud of all your commissions and your music. But do you have a piece that's very personal to you, or a piece that you, if somebody can only hear one of your selections, what would you choose? Is there one piece that's most meaningful to you?
This is my favorite question.
It is? Oh, hard one. Okay.
I don't know the piece, but I would say Starship for band, published from Southern Music Company, because this is my first publication in the States. Yeah, and back then Dr. Alfred Reed liked this piece very much, and he gave me some tips for French horn section, because I asked him how the French horn sounds beautifully in the high range. Yeah, he gave me a tip.
He gave you a tip?
Yeah.
Can you share? What was it?
I won't tell you.
Oh, you won't? You could tell me later, maybe. I want to know the Alfred Reed tip too. Oh, that's great.
After that, personally.
That's okay. Yeah. Oh, that's a great piece. That's a great piece. And it was that was your first piece published in the States. Yeah. That's important too.
Yeah. And also I made a string orchestra version and also orchestra version too. Yeah. The orchestra version is not published yet. But
Okay. All right. So there you go. Another great one. So many good pieces, I tell you. Okay, I got one more question.
Okay.
One more question. So I know you just moved, like, when did you move to Los Angeles? Right before Midwest, right? Right before I saw you?
August last year.
Okay, so about a year almost a year. So how's it going how's it going living in Los Angeles? Are you pursuing different composition outlets there? You know, are you working to get film or TV, or are you? What's your goals?
First of all, the weather is good.
Yes.
The weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
I was luckily accepted to move to the States last year. If it were this year, you know, it would be in trouble.
Yeah.
And I chose Los Angeles to live because I have been longing to be involved in the film and TV industry.
Yeah.
But in this industry, it's really competitive. You can imagine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there are so many talented people wanting a job.
Yeah.
I'm still seeking that.
Yeah, you're still.
Yeah, I have no idea how to get into or find a connection to it. But for now, you know, I keep creating what I believe and keep spreading my music as many as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just, you know, seeking everything.
Yeah, take any opportunity, right? Yeah.
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 That's me recently.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've only been there less than a year, so it's just starting out. But I think, right, we've all, and we can say this to our students too. You know, sometimes you just have to go for your dreams. You have to go for it. You got to work hard for it, and even when it doesn't happen right away, you know, that's okay. I know with my own kids, they expect things to happen right away. That's not how it works, right? Sometimes you got to keep at it. So I know it'll work out for you too, for sure. You're such a fabulous composer, and such a great person. I know it's going to work out for you in Los Angeles.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's all my questions I have. Do you have any questions for me? Did I miss anything?
I haven't thought of a question for you. Sorry.
It's okay. I don't need to answer any more questions.
Well, this was awesome. I was enjoying listening, and
I'm sweating.
Oh, it was fabulous. And as Peter said, we love your music. We hope you'll write much more of it, and give us a chance to get it out to the world. And now that you're in the United States, I'm hoping that you're going to get more opportunities to meet students around the country, maybe participate in working with groups all over the country. I'm sure they would be interested in that. So maybe tell them how they can get in touch with you if they want to commission a piece, or just, you know, whether Facebook or your website or things like that.
Yeah, most people contact me through Facebook. Yeah.
Yes. So we want to get
I won't ignore that.
Right. So we want to get you more commissions.
Okay. Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're happy to have you writing for us at the Excelsior Music Publishing, and we appreciate your time.
Yeah.
And everybody go look up Yukiko's music because it's awesome. And Peter, thank you very much for doing this for us.
My pleasure.
We appreciate it. Take care. Have a good night.